What business model should you choose? That's a question that probably a lot of you are asking yourselves right now. So, should I start a content agency or just be a freelance editor or start paid community for editors or maybe be some kind of coach or maybe create a course? What type of business model should I choose? And the next question is, how the heck is my business going to look like in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years? Am I going to continue to be editor for the rest of my life or run this content agency for the rest of my life or later pivot to some kind of community or coaching? But the main question is, how is my business and therefore my life is going to look like in the next 3, 5, 10 years? What am I going to do? And in this module, I want to give you the clarity on all that. As we're all here talking about content, doing content and helping other people create content, there are three main business models to choose from. We have done for you, done with you, and do it yourself. So done for you is essentially doing stuff for your clients. As the name says, done for you, doing things instead of them. Done with you is doing things with them in a way that you're teaching other people how to do stuff you already did yourself. You're helping them by holding their hands and doing stuff with them. And do it yourself is the worst option because it's not optimized for people to get the results. It's essentially when you just give people some videos, they don't have access to you, there's no community, there's no support from you. It's just hear the videos, do it yourself, find a way. That's it. Don't focus on do it yourself. We're gonna ignore this right now and focus on these two for the beginning. So nearly all of you, like most people in this community, should go and start with done for you because it's the best business model to start with because it's optimized to gain the most knowledge, the most experience, and the most credibility about the things you're doing because you're essentially doing everything instead of your clients. So you're gonna master your skill, get the experience because you're actually helping people create content, hopping on sales calls, gain experience with communicating with other people, and then eventually, once you have enough credibility, because in the beginning, you can't go and start with done with you. You do not have enough credibility, enough knowledge, enough experience to go and teach someone else to do something. You need to start with done for you in order to learn something, and once you learn and once you become great at it, only then you can go and start teaching other people how to do that. So for done for you, we have two main options, two main directions we can choose. We have done for you content agency and we have a freelance editor. And basically the main difference between these two is that freelance editor is just doing editing for his clients, just editing instead of them. And done for you content agency is more like a holistic service, like taking their whole content side of the business and doing it instead of them. So you're gonna ideate for them, script their videos, help them with recording, edit their videos, and maybe even post their videos. Basically taking as much time as you can from their plate because you're doing everything instead of them. That's what content agency is essentially doing. Now, the main thing here, the main point here about done for you model is that you want to think about this not in a common way that a lot of people think about that, which is like, I'm only doing content. Like if you're a freelance video editor or just content agency, a lot of people just think that they're just gonna send me the videos, I edit the videos, send them the videos back, and that's it. And then they wonder why they can't retain clients, have clients work with them for long term, for 6 months, a year. It's because you're not thinking about the things that client wants. You're just being like a commodity because what your client essentially wants is to make more money from content. So if you help your client make more money from content, he will want to work with you longer. Now, I'm not telling you to go and take sales calls instead of him, but instead of just doing content, think of his business as your business. Think that you're kind of like a business partners and you're trying to run this business together. You actually care about his business. You actually want his business to get better and him to make more money. Because if you do that, he's gonna like you more, trust you more, and work with you longer. So basically everyone's winning here. He's making more money, you're making more money, everyone's winning. But it's just about the mindset that you're not just having a client and I'm just helping him with content. I'm actually helping him scale his business. And that's the main mindset shift all of you need to adopt. You don't want to work with people and just think about it as They're just my clients. I do some work for them and that's it. But you actually want to think about it as you're in the same boat, you're in the same business, you're running the business together and you're helping them with business overall. So Done For You is for the beginners, for the beginning, as I said, because it optimizes for you to master your skill. And if you think right now, well, I don't know that all of these things, I don't know how to do them instead of my clients, it's fine because you will learn by doing those things instead of your clients. That's how you learn. You learn by doing. You don't learn by watching this module. You're right now just consuming the information. You actually learn when you go and implement this information. That's when you learn. So Done For You, everyone can start. It doesn't matter that you don't know how to do certain stuff. You will learn along the way. And once you master Done For You, the next business model you can choose is Done With You. Now, Done With You is a lot harder actually than Done For You. Because for Done With You, you actually need to be master at what you're doing. You can't just go and think, oh yeah, I learned this skill, I did this or that, I posted a couple videos, and now I can go on and teach other people how to do this. You actually need to be a master of that. You actually need to have got some incredible result with the thing you're doing to then be able and go and start teaching other people how to do that stuff. Now, how Done With You looks like is you have basically a couple levels of access to you. So the first level of access is basically one-on-one coaching. So this is the most people have the most access to you. This is the most expensive one. Basically, people have one-on-one access to you. They can ask you questions directly, specifically to them, specifically personalized to them. You're gonna answer, hop on calls, one-on-one access directly to you. Next level of access is paid community. So they don't have direct access to you one-on-one, but they're in a community with other like-minded people and you're coaching them in a group setting. Basically, they hop on a group calls, they can ask questions in a community, basically a lower level of access that's gonna be less expensive than one-on-one coaching. And the third level is basically your customers. So your customers are people who bought something from you once, maybe like a workshop, or they paid you to just join one group call, or maybe bought a project file from you. Basically, people who only purchased something from you once, they're not in your group, they're not in your community, coaching, they just purchased from you once, and that's it. Those are your customers. Basically, the least amount of access and the least expensive thing of these three. So that's how Done With You model looks like. Basically, you have a couple levels of access to you, and the closer people are to you, the more you charge for that. That's how it works. The direction I took, I started with Done For You. Started as a content agency, helping other people with content, doing content instead of them. And I was helping a lot of different people. I was helping life insurance agents, real estate agents, coaches, other agency owners, just helping people with content in general. And the main thing that I wanted to do here is help other people with content and in the same time create my content. So that by helping other people and working with other people on their content, I was able to learn certain stuff about setup, creating content, ideation, scripting, and all that stuff, to then be able to implement all those things in my content and eventually build my brand. So after working with a lot of people who are Done For You and helping them with content in a Done For You setting as a content agency, I eventually shifted to a different model, which is basically a combination between Done For You and Done With You, like a hybrid model. And how I did it is I first worked with people in Done For You setting, helping other people with content, but I was actually helping people who need content because I knew that I eventually want to build my personal brand and help other people with building their personal brands. So I was trying to work with people who actually need personal brand. So what do I mean by that is don't choose someone as like a solar company to help them build personal brand. And I'm not saying that solar is like a bad niche, it's a great niche, but they do not need Instagram with personal brand content. They don't need that. Think about someone who actually needs content and then work with those people. That's why I was mostly working with coaches. And once I was working with them for a long enough period of time, I learned stuff about content and I started building my personal brand. And once I built my personal brand and I had enough credibility, enough experience, and enough knowledge about content and personal brand in general, I started doing a hybrid model. So how did this hybrid model look like? Depending on the client, I was choosing an option that I'm gonna do. So for example, maybe I would actually edit videos for them. Or in another case, I would go and find another editor and place that editor inside their business. Or if they already had a content team, I would go and train their content team, so basically build their unique style and train all of their editors that the client already has on his new editing style. So basically, depending on the client, I was choosing what option should I do editing wise. And about other things, I was consulting them on content, on their direction with content, their content messaging, how to build great recording studio, helping them with content systems so they actually don't waste time on content, helping them with all the other things I did myself when I was building my personal brand. And that's the offer that you can price $5,000 a month or even more. That's how much I charged. And as you can see here, the main point here is in order for you to be able to do this, apart from being good at editing, you also need to build your personal brand and actually have some experience and credibility about content by doing it yourself. Because all these clients were actually listening to me, because in most cases, I had more followers than them, more experience with content, I was creating better content, more results with content, and all of them were listening to me, looking at me as some kind of authority, because I actually knew a lot of things they don't. So for the hybrid model, you need to be a master at video editing and have established personal brand to help other people do the same. For done with you, you need the most experience, the most knowledge, the best results, because you're teaching other people how to do that themselves. You're not doing anything instead of them. And done for you is the best for the beginning because you only need to have a skill set. And by doing that model, you will master the skill along the way. So that's it. That's how you know when are you ready for a certain model that you can follow basically for the rest of your life.